It's Thursday afternoon and we've had another really productive day at Banks Chambered Tomb. Work in the West Cell has been really revealing today. We've worked out that the deposit with the skulls and the lots of fragments of human bone and the femurs that we've been carefully working our way through in the sort of western part of the cell, the undisturbed area, is actually the primary or the kind of the main burial, main skeletal deposits within the cell. And the area to the east was disturbed, which we've been excavating and wet sieving. We've been getting a lot of finds from the wet sieving, including teeth, various small fragments of bone, and we even found part of a mandible in those samples. It's been very wet and sticky in there, so it's been difficult to retrieve all these bones when we've been excavating it out. So the western part of the cell is really interesting. We found that there's two skulls in the northern corner. We've had the other skull on its side with the rounded stone that we saw next to that was actually a core stone tool. So we have got an artifact that's been placed in that end of the cell. These deposits look about, well, say 6, 7, 8 centimetres deep, and under that we've got a trampled clay layer, and we found that below the burial deposits is the floor, rather than being a kind of bedrock floor that we expected, well, that I expected to find. It's actually they've actually covered the bedrock with a layer of clay, and then the bedrock they've cut that down into the sides and used that as a kind of foundation area for the walls that they've used to line the cell on the sides. So the process has been quarrying out. They've excavated out this kind of foundation trenches down the side. They've built these side skins, and then they've laid a layer of clay as a floor. And we can see that actually this upper layer of this clay has actually got bones that have been trampled into it as they've been using the cell, and we've gradually got the deposits, the burial deposits forming, and then we've got the otter sprain over the top of that. So we've had a really productive day in the West Cell. We've realised that we thought that perhaps this was a higher level of maybe reuse of the cell, but now we realise that this is the main use of the cell, and the deposits don't go that much deeper. So in total we're looking at sort of 20-30 centimetres of deposits inside the cell. The southern cell has been progressing well today as well. We've been removing the backfilling of the entranceway under control conditions. We found that skull yesterday that's been as part of the backfilling, and then underneath that we found a layer of slabs, loose slabs that we removed, and then under that we found another piece of skull, upturned piece of skull. We've managed to sample that as well for DNA analysis, and that's enabled us to then record and plan that area. And in amongst these stones we found otter sprain. So the otters have been getting into this cell as well, but they've not been using it as the main area of where the main area of spraint is, as in the West Cell. So it looks like they are getting into the rest of the monument, but they're not using that area perhaps as much as the West Cell. So we've been able to get into the southern cell a bit more now, and we can see in amongst the stones, just as in the north cell, we've got what looks like a scapula in the back corner, and we've got a part of the pelvis in the left hand eastern corner. So tomorrow we're going to be cleaning that whole area up inside the cell, recording and planning any of the bones, any of the slabs that we find in situ, and then hopefully excavating those bones. So that'd be really interesting, seeing the similarities with that and the north cell perhaps. So yeah, so we've got one more day left of this week, and then we've got a reduced team for 3 days up to Wednesday next week. So we'll be carrying on excavating next week, and we'll be keep doing these diaries. So thanks.